Toyama has what travelers look for in a trip to Japan, packed into one prefecture. Dramatic mountains, a deep blue bay, fresh seafood, traditional villages, and a city that was ranked on the New York Times 2025 list of places to go. Toyama offers something for everybody year-round. Deep winter snow, spring firefly squid, and coastal mirages. Cool alpine trails in summer, and crisp colors in autumn. There are easy day trips between mountains and sea, calm canal towns, a national treasure Zen temple, and thatched roof villages. It really ticks all the boxes for an awesome trip to Japan. This video will help you plan it and make the most of your time. I'll show you how to get here from Tokyo, what not to miss in the food scene, and 12 popular spots that are worth visiting, with many more pinned on my Rexby map and guide. Let's start the video. Toyama sits on the Japan Sea coast in central Honshu, about 250 kilometers northwest of Tokyo. It's easy to reach. You leave from Tokyo Station and take the Hokuriku Shinkansen. The fastest services, called the Kagayaki, take just over 2 hours and arrive at Toyama Station in the center of the city. If you're coming from Osaka or Kyoto, you can go up through Kanazawa and transfer onto the same Shinkansen line to reach Toyama City. From the city, you can head into the mountains, explore the bay, or reach quiet villages without long transfers. Most of the places I mention on this video can be reached by public transport. It's part of the reason it's made them so popular. But if you want to make the most of your trip, try getting a rental car. It'll give you the freedom to explore more. You'll find the details how to get to these places on my Rexby map and guide. Also, my favorite hotels and accommodation to stay at while you're visiting. Toyama is one of the most dramatic landscapes in Japan. The northern Japan Alps rise above 3,000 meters, while Toyama Bay drops more than 1,000 meters just offshore. That's almost 4,000 meters, or 13,000 feet, of vertical change in a short distance. This change in elevation creates contrasting scenery, which is what makes the place super special. Food is just as strong a reason to come. In spring, you get hotaru ika, the firefly squid. In winter, himiburi, rich yellowtail from the cold bay. Year-round, there's shiro ebi, a delicate white shrimp, served raw or as a crisp kakiage. Masu no sushi is Toyama's round-pressed trout sushi in a bamboo box. And kombu jime is a local technique where fish is rested between kelp to deepen the flavor. The mountains add fresh rice, vegetables, and fruit throughout the year. So meals here are always tied to the season. Now let's get into the 12 most popular things to do in Toyama. These are places I've visited myself and added to my Rexby map and guide, along with many other lesser-known locations that I personally recommend. Kurobe Gorge is one of the most popular attractions in Toyama. The trip begins at Uozu Onsen, a hot spring town at the entrance to the gorge. From here, you ride the Kurobe Gorge Railway, a small open-air train that runs about 20 kilometers into the mountains. The train crosses bright red bridges, runs through tunnels, and follows the Kurobe River, with steep mountains on both sides. There are a bunch of different stations you can stop at along the way before reaching the top. There are short trails for hiking, suspension bridges, and hot springs. My recommendation is to get off and check out Meiken Onsen, which sits right by the river. It's a mixed gender hot spring, where clothing is optional. This is a really special hot spring up in the mountains. The gorge is especially popular in autumn for the leaves, but in the summer it's cooler than the city and still very scenic. The railway usually runs from April to November. Weekends and peak foliage seasons are very busy, so tickets should be planned in advance. My final tip, watch out for the monkeys.
Oh my god, this guy.
The snow corridor is a spring-only feature at Murudo on the Alpine route. The road is cut through deep winter snow, leaving tall white walls on both sides. Visitors can walk a marked section of the road beside these walls. It usually opens in mid-April and lasts until around June, depending on the winter snowfall and melt. The walls are usually between 15 and 20 meters high. The experience is simple. You arrive by bus, walk along the marked path beside the wall, and take in the size of the snowpack. It's a very popular spot for tour groups, so you should expect heavy crowds. If you want to make more of the visit, you can continue onto the Alpine route across the mountains into Nagano, or return back down the Toyama side. What stood out to me was the contrast. The road is completely clear, yet the snow towers many times higher than your head. Wait for a bus to come through to grab a photo. It really puts the size into perspective. The best way to escape the crowds here is to go hiking into Tateyama. Tateyama offers proper mountain hiking directly from the alpine route. From Murodo, there are short loops to ponds, longer ridge walks, and climbs to Mount Oyama, which is 3,015 meters high. At the summit, there is a small Oyama shrine hall. Huts are available for overnight stays, which makes it easy to catch sunrise or do long routes without carrying camping gear. Summer and autumn are the easiest times to hike because the trails are free of snow. In spring and winter, you'll need proper gear and experience. Weekends are popular with local hikers and skiers. The hike gives you big open views above the tree line, alpine ponds, and sometimes even a glimpse of the bay from the summit. What I liked is that you can choose a short, easy walk or a full summit hike, and both give you the feeling of being in the real mountains. This is the mountain hut right here, and there's an onsen available, which I will probably try out. Because on the other side, down here, I don't know if you can see it, but there are 2 tents. That's my campsite for tonight. There are only 2 people here. Excited. It's not too cold. We'll see how it goes tonight. Take it slow while you're walking and keep an eye out for the thunderbirds. This is a prime breeding ground for this unique animal. You can see a full video of the hike on my YouTube channel. The Shinkiro mirage appears along the Uozu coast on calm spring days. Light bends across layers of air above the bay, making distant ships and buildings appear stretched, flipped, or floating. The main viewing area is along the seawall in Uozu, where local photographers often gather to wait for the right conditions. Sometimes it shows for only a short time, so patience is needed. There's a small museum nearby that explains the phenomenon, though most of the displays are in Japanese. At the top of the museum is a viewing platform, where you might spot the mirage. It's not guaranteed. Some days you won't see it, but the bay itself is always nice to look over, and the mountains in the background is beautiful. Right beside the mirage viewing area is the Uozu Buried Forest Museum. Thousands of years ago, floods buried entire cedar trees along the coast, and stumps of the roots were preserved underground in waterlogged soil. The museum displays many of these large remains. Inside, you see the dark cedar trunks with clear growth rings and sprawling root systems. Some of the stumps are more than 2,000 years old. The exhibits are pretty straightforward, showing the trees as they were discovered and explaining how they survived for so long underground. The best exhibition is this part. You can see how the trees looked underwater. Don't forget to go down and check out the viewing platform. I also recommend to check out the theater. It shows short movies of what the Uozu buried forest is like, but also explains the mirage. There are subtitles in English to make it easier. This stop doesn't take long to visit, but it adds depth to the stop in Uozu. You can easily combine it with the mirage viewing since they're next to each other. The Hotaru Ika Museum in Amerikawa is dedicated to Toyama's Firefly squid. These squid are found in other deep parts of the Pacific, but only in Toyama Bay do they gather this close to shore in such huge numbers. That's because Toyama Bay is unusually deep right offshore, over 1,000 meters, and its steep underwater canyons bring the squid right up to the coast each spring. From March to May, the squid rise from the deep at night and can be caught in fixed nets close to the coast. At the same time, waves usually wash glowing squid right up onto the beach, which is something you don't see anywhere else in Japan. This combination of deep water, cold currents, and the bay's shape makes Toyama the only place where people can reliably watch and even eat Firefly squid during their season. The museum explains how this works, shows live squid in tanks, and has a hands-on area with other sea creatures. If you visit in season, you can even book a pre-dawn boat trip to see the nets pulled in with the glowing squid, an experience unique to Toyama. You can also try them as food, usually boiled with vinegared miso, grilled or raw. While the museum is simple and kind of outdated, it's one of those things in Japan that's original and feels like Japan. The hands-on experience and the boat trip is what makes it worthwhile. Ainokura is one of the small Gassho-zukuri villages in the mountains of Toyama. Gassho-zukuri means constructed like hands in prayer, because the steep thatched roofs look like palms pressed together. The design isn't for decoration, it's practical. The sharp angle lets heavy winter snow slide off easily, and the large attic spaces inside were once used to raise silkworms. The village has about 20 houses, and walking the lanes you see the tall roofs up close, the water channels, small shrines, and tool sheds. Some houses are open folk museums, showing the interiors with beams, hearths, and farm tools. There are great viewpoints around the village to take some awesome photos. You can reach Ainokura by car or slower public transport, and it's best early in the morning or late in the day when it's quiet. A few houses also run as minshuku guest houses, so you can stay overnight and see the village after the day trippers leave. Ainokura is still a lived-in place. You see laundry hanging, small gardens, and locals working around their houses, which shows that it's still a real village and not just a sightseeing stop. The Great Buddha of Takaoka is a large bronze statue in the city center. It's one of Japan's 3 famous great Buddhas, alongside Kamakura and Nara. You can walk around the statue from the plaza, and you can also go underneath to see how it's built. You'll find some intricate religious details underneath. This version was made in bronze in the early 20th century, after the earlier wooden versions were destroyed by fire. This is a wonderful place you can really slow down and take in the street vibes. Right across from the statue is a cafe, where the upstairs seats face the statue, though they cost a little extra. The Buddha itself only takes a short time to see, but you combine it with a walk around Takaoka's old streets or with Zuiryuji Temple nearby. Zuiryuji is a Zen temple in Takaoka and is recognized as a national treasure. It was built in the 17th century and has a symmetrical layout with a main gate, Buddha hall, and Dharma hall lined up on a central axis. The temple is known for its large wooden structures and the grassy forefront that sets them off. Many temples in Japan have dirt courtyards, so the grass makes this one distinctive. Inside, you can walk through the main halls, which are spacious and quiet. What I really like about this area is on certain days, you'll find small markets, and they're held outside the gate. This is where you'll feel the local atmosphere, where people come out to sell second-hand goods, and maybe you'll get lucky and find an antique or two. There's a couple of very famous restaurants in this area, and if you want to see more about the food options, check out my map and guide on Rexby, where I've plugged in my personal recommendations for food and coffee. Shinminato Uchikawa is a small canal district close to the coast. Fishing boats line up along narrow waterways with low bridges and old storehouses on either side. It's sometimes compared to Venice, and in fact, if you Google search it on maps, you'll see that it's called the Venice of Japan. But really, it's a working fishing town. Walking the canals, you see ropes, nets, and boats tied up just a few meters away. In the mornings, locals prepare their boats for the bay, and later in the day, the area becomes calm and quiet for a stroll. It's a great place to rent a bike and go for a ride. Being right by the sea, Uchikawa connects directly to the Shinminato fishing port, which is one of the main seafood hubs in Toyama. This is one of the best places to eat himibori, the famous winter yellowtail caught in the cold waters of Toyama. The port has a seafood market and restaurants serving sashimi, rice bowls, and grilled fish. If you visit in winter, trying the buri here is part of the experience. Recently, a few cafes and small guest houses have opened along the canals, but the area hasn't turned into a tourist zone. It still feels authentic and tied to the bay. You can combine a walk along the waterways with a seafood meal at the port for a full half day. Make sure to find the temple a few streets away from the canal, where there's a resident neko, or cat. Every temple needs a cat. This is Japan. Now for those who like shopping. The Mitsui Outlet Park in Oyabe is a large shopping mall near Toyama. It may not be a sightseeing attraction, but it's practical for travelers. It has a wide range of brand stores, a food court, and tax-free options for international visitors. It's a good place to finish shopping without needing to return to Tokyo early. It's also a useful backup plan for rainy or cloudy days when the mountains aren't visible. For groups, it works as a lighter day when people want a break from constant sightseeing. And finally, number 12, and one of my favorites, Amaharashi Coast and the Himi Line. This is one of the classic Toyama views. The JR Himi Line is a small local train that runs between Takaoka and the fishing town of Himi. Along the way, it hugs the shoreline, and at Amaharashi, the tracks are just meters from the sea. When a train passes with the bay in front and the Tateyama mountains rising behind, it's one of the most photogenic scenes in the prefecture. On clear winter days, the mountains look especially sharp. You can start from Takaoka Station, which is just a few minutes from the Shinkansen, and ride the Himi Line out toward Amaharashi. It's a slow local service, but that's that's part of the charm. The windows open up to the coast, small villages, and fishing boats. At Amaharashi Station, it's only a short walk to the coast, where there are safe areas to wait for the train and take in the views. There's even a viewing platform up at the cafe. Trains don't run every few minutes, so check the schedule and give yourself time to enjoy it. That's 12 amazing experiences in Toyama. But honestly, this is only scratching the surface. I didn't even cover the hot springs or my favorite ramen. Like every prefecture in Japan, there's so much more here than what fits into a single video. I've explored Toyama extensively and added my favorite spots to my Rexby map and guide. Not just sightseeing, but also where to stay and what to eat along the way. I'd love to hear from you as well. Which of these places would you like to visit? Or if you've been to Toyama before, let me know your favorite spots down in the comments. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe for more. And let me know which prefecture in Japan you'd like me to cover next. Happy travels! Happy travels!